Welcome back to the Pod Side Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host coming to you live from the world headquarters, Jeremy Todd, back and better than ever, fired up on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Today's episode, we're going to go over those questions that I ask at the end of all my interviews. I'm going to give you my answers. They change all the time. I think I probably answer them 3 or 4 times, maybe on episodes, and maybe when I just get bored, or maybe I'm just sitting in the car by myself. I like to kind of go through these questions because they change so often, depending on the season of the life that I'm in. So we're going to go over those 7 questions today. Hey, real quick, do you want to have the best second half year of your life? So often, again, time after time, we're in the exact same spot we are year after year after year, doing the exact same thing over and over. But next year, next month, next week, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do it. I'm going to tackle it. And then it just keeps going on and on. And we're in the same spot over and over and over and over and over. We got to stop. We got to get out of the hamster wheel and do something different. If you want to find out how to have the best second half of year of your life, man, shoot me an email, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. I'm going to do a free class. It's going to be like 30, 45-minute class, something like that on June 15th, but you got to be on the list to get in on it. Let's go over those questions, the 7 questions, John Maxwell's book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And here are my answers. Question number 1, Jeremy Todd, what is the greatest lesson you have ever learned? It's interesting, Jeremy. I appreciate you asking me the question. But I thought about this a couple times today, and one of the first things I want to talk about is just really the power of consistency. I did a podcast just a couple days ago on it, but it's true. Looking back, and when I first started the podcast, and I got asked over and over, why are you doing it? How much you get paid? Is anybody listening? And sometimes, all BS aside, no one was listening. There are a lot of episodes when I first started out that no one listened to it for months, and then they slowly started trickling in. And started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more momentum. And then I got better. Then I got better talking and interviewing. And I just had so much fun with the show. Then all of a sudden, over 4 years have gone by. And here we are today, the Positive Side Podcast, the Positive Nation, blowing up. And it's just so cool. But it's the power of consistency. There's all kinds of cheesy sayings. If you got 1% better every single day of the year, you're 365% better, or whatever the case is, or however that math works out. Lose a pound a week for a year, you lose 52 pounds. That's pretty doggone good too. But it's just all these things that pile on, the power of consistency. So when I'm struggling, when I'm not doing as well, maybe I'm not fired up as I should be, maybe things just aren't going well for me in the podcast world, I look back to where I started and I'm like, wow, hundreds of thousands of downloads later, here I am still going, not stopping. So the power of consistency is one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned. But the other one I really want to talk about too is my reaction when bad news happens. I used to be very reactionary and versus proactive. So what I would do is, as soon as I hear something, I would reply the first thing that comes to my head. And that comes through, if you get in an argument with a loved one, you have bad news at work, you get fired, whatever, you get bad health news, whatever the case is. What I've really learned to do is not react at all. Take that 5-10 second deep breath, relax, don't think anything, because a lot of times for me, initially, my first thoughts are usually the wrong thoughts. They're not, your brain is programmed to protect you, right? So your first reaction is going to be the rash out or lash out and fight that opposition. But when you take a deep breath, it allows your mind to actually reset itself. It's okay. Let me figure out where I am. What is the reality of the situation? Number one, how, and just grasping it and understanding what the situation and what you're in. Number two, how is it going to affect my mental state? Am I going to be upset? Am I going to be arguing? Are my feelings going to be hurt? Whatever the case is, that is a real feeling. So then actually living in that feeling. And then number three, really making a plan. Like, what am I going to do now? How am I going to get past this problem or whatever this issue is in my life? What plan can I come up with to make sure I can get through to the other side? And then the fourth part about that is whenever that happens to me also, I actually sit back and take a step back and say, okay, now during this situation, what did I learn? What did I learn about the way I reacted? What did I learn? When I said this, how did that reaction come across to somebody else? It just allows me to get better. So over time, when you go back to that consistency, when you begin to really analyze your reactions to people, you just become a better communicator, become a better listener. And typically what happens is when bad things happen, people look towards you as a leader. And I think that's part of these questions is, the leadership questions. And John Maxwell's Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And that's one of them that's made me a stronger leader, is by not overreacting, taking a step back and just analyzing the situation and then coming up with a plan. And then what can I do better the next time? Number two, what are you learning now? Man, what I'm learning now is really just life in general. I mean, that's a very general idea, but I'm just trying to deal with everything that comes my way. There's so many things going on with the podcast. Bunch of new coaching clients, the program coming up, a couple speaking opportunities I got coming up next month. There's so many things going on. That's what I'm learning now. But I'm also learning social media stuff like YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all these things. There's so much to learn. And then how do I develop that group? I mean, it's consistent too, because when I started 4 years ago, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But over time and over consistency, I'm constantly learning. I'm listening to podcasts like Gary Vee's podcast. What a great podcast that is. John Lee Dumas's podcast. I'm learning social media and strategies to become better, and reality to become better so I can help other people. And that's the true reality of the situation. Having your own podcast is cool. But the reason I have my own podcast is to help other people achieve their dreams and goals. So the better I become at doing my job, the more lives I can affect, and the bigger difference I can make in other people's lives. And that's really the whole benefit of having the show and learning how I can reach out and help more people. Question number 3 is, how has failure shaped your life? I've answered this 1,000 times. There's never really been a failure for me if I've learned. Now, when you talk about a failure is when you don't learn from the mistake that you did, or don't learn from an action that maybe didn't have the best outcome. If you don't learn from the situation, that to me is a failure. So so in reality, when you mess up, that's not really a failure. That's a learning opportunity. But it's identified me with who I am. If I go back to that, how I react to certain situations, when failure comes my way, I take a step back and I realize and I think about it, man, what is this situation teaching me? Who is to blame? And 99% of the time, it's me. I'm the one to blame for the situation. And I need to learn how to become a better communicator and how to react differently. Or did I make a mistake? Did I hurt someone's feelings? Did I say something that I didn't even realize was offensive to somebody? I'm constantly learning. That's what failure has done for me. It allows me to become a stronger individual, a better listener, better friend, better sales guy, better coach, all these things. But failure is key to my life because I've learned so much. I mean, again, you go back to me filing bankruptcy, dropping out of college, barely graduating high school, skipping around from job to job to job. I mean, I was a wreck selling drugs. I was a train wreck. But talking, I learned from all these things. It wasn't who I was deep down inside, and I had to go through those things to learn that. So, again, failure has been one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. Number 4, who do I know that you should know? Well, there's, again, so many people. When I open up that list, a guy like Donnie Tuttle jumps out. I talked to him again today, and again, just someone to share experiences. My buddy Brandon Hanley, so important to me in my life. My close friends around here, a bunch of guys from my neighborhood. There's so many people. Lauren LaForge is another one. I think she's great. Elise Archer, my gosh. She's been on all these people that I mentioned. They've all been on the show. So if you get a chance, go back and research and search these shows out. They're just amazing people. Even Adam Walton will be on the show. I think next week would be great to have him on there. My brother, my mom, who do you know that I should know? It's difficult for me to put one person on there. I just named 30 people probably in about 30 seconds, but they've all made a big impact. Like, that's what's made me who I am. The people that I come around and the old Jim Rohn saying, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And man, I would say that's 100% true. I am the average of the 5 people I hang out with. And it's brought me to this next level of my life. It's made me more accountable. It's made me more successful, made me a better friend, a better coach. I mean, all this stuff. Who do you know that I should know? That's a list of a lot of people. And I would even go one further. Why my mind's going a million miles an hour. Who do you know that I should know? You know what? You should know me. And I say that humbly. I think, and your answer to that question should be you. Because I think we all have this greatness within. And obviously I say it in every single episode, but sometimes we don't even actually know who we are as individuals. There's so many outside sources that tell us exactly who we should be like, who we should act like, who we should look like, who we should dress like. But instead of understanding that everything that we need to know is already within us. I am who you should know, and I am who I should know. You are who you should know. Truly, deep down, the faults, the bad experience in the past, the skeletons in the closet, all those things have made you who you are today, and all the things that have made me who I am today. So, who do I know that you should know? You should know me, and you should know you, and I should know myself. Question number 5. What have you read that I should read? Great question, Jeremy. I always default to The Alchemist, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love that book. It's one of those books that changed my life. It talks about the power, power of of positive thinking and what you can become, what you think you can become, you can become. My boy Jesse Cole says, how does he put it? The who you want to become depends on your willingness to become that person, something along those lines. Jesse Cole, there you go. That's who I know that you should know, Jesse Cole. But again, that's super powerful. That within that book of The Alchemist, I'm currently reading John Lee Dumas's book. I'm also reading Joe Dispenza's book. I finished with uh, the Delivering Happiness, which was Tony Hsieh's book. I finished that one up. There's so many good books, and I would just encourage you this. Like, I don't have a time. I don't have the time really to pick up a book and lay and sit there and read. I'd rather listen to a audio book. So if you struggle with books, boy, just get an audio book and do something. Start any kind of personal development book. There's so many good ones out there. And again, when I talk about the power of consistency, when you start reading these self-help books, these motivation books, these inspiration books, over a year, you do one a month, and think about the different type of person you're going to be. Extremely important. So what have you read that I should read? Anything that's going to put your mindset right. Question number 6, what have you done that I should do? One of my favorite things I've ever done is go on that solo trip to Ireland. I did by myself with no reservations. Just drove around the country and just really figured out who I was. Allowed me to mentally unwrap like the stuff that I struggle with. It allowed me to help write that book last year, and that gave me time to identify myself. That hey, I'm cool with who I am. It is who I am. If this is the only body I got and the experience that I have, or maybe who I am, I can't get rid of this body. I can't get rid of this mind. I can't get rid of who I am, and I don't want to, because I think, again, what I have inside is greatness, just like you. But going on a trip by yourself and allowing yourself just a free spirit, move around, meet people, was an extremely powerful experience. Question number 7, how can I add value to you? The question for that is, the biggest thing for me is I want to help impact more people. I say that with all humbleness, not trying to be this total sales guy and just say, hey, come coach with me. But I know I'm changing lives. I know I'm making a big impact. I'm giving everything I can, my heart, soul, blood, tears, passion, honesty. I want to change people's lives. And in a world where it's so much negativity, so much things stopping us, so many reasons to not go after our goals and dreams, I want to be that beacon of light for you. That is how I can add value to you. You can add value to me by coming on my coaching and allow me to work with you one-on-one, develop that podcast, develop that business, that sales job, go to hit your goals, whatever you want to achieve. If you haven't achieved them, the question is to look in yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why you haven't done that yet. And then the second question is if you haven't done it, who's going to help you get there? And I would just ask you to allow me to help guide you there and help coach you to get there, because I will 100% hold you accountable. Positive Side Podcast, again, back and better than ever. I'm going to start doing more episodes, more personal, just Jeremy episodes. My boy Dustin Vaughn Warnke said, Jeremy, I love your interviews, but I just love the solo episodes even more. So this is more of me. I love these interviews because it gets me out of my own head, allows me to spit out all this random knowledge I have and random motivation and inspiration. I hope you get a lot from it. But again, more than anything, I can't thank everybody enough from around the globe. Share this podcast, tell other people about it. Go to iTunes, leave those 5-star reviews. That allows other people to find the show. Go to the social media, like those things. Shoot me that email. Again, June 15th, it's free. It's a free class. I don't know how long it's going to be, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but I will go step by step. We're going to talk about goals. We're going to talk about mindset. We're talking about schedule. We're going to talk about framing your days. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff like that to really get you geared up, that no matter what, you follow this process and you allow me to work with you whether you what I take that back. Whether you work with me or not, it doesn't matter. This free class is going to help you get to that the best second half of the year of your life. I guarantee it. Shoot me those emails, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. Much love, much love. And I say it on every single episode, mean it from the bottom of my heart. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the positive side.